Good morning once again, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on Google Analytics 4. My name is Kobul Raghavan, and together with me today is Shaman Yo. As a reminder, the GA4 Accelerator Program is designed to empower news publishers in the APAC region, and this five-part webinar series will continue until the end of October. Please feel free to scan QR code for any additional support that you might need. So today we will explore how to analyze content performance, track reader engagement, and evaluate author impact using GA4. This session is particularly going to be useful for content managers, marketers, and authors who wants to optimize content strategies. So before we jump into today's webinar, let's quickly cover a few housekeeping items to make sure we have a smooth and productive session. So first off, I encourage you to have your GA4 open and ready, as we'll be having a couple live demos in this webinar. Also, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Feel free to type them in the chat box throughout the sessions, and we'll take some time at the end and address them all. Also, keep in mind that we will be conducting quick pop quiz in between our webinar. So be prepared to answer those via polls, and kindly please avoid answering them via chat. So lastly, this session is being recorded, so you can revisit anything you may have missed. The recording, along with all the materials presented, will be available on the program website after the webinar. So no need to worry about anything. You'll have everything in your fingertips. Right. So before we begin, let's recap quickly on our last session, where we dove into the world of custom and exploration reports, showing how to move beyond GA4 standard reporting capabilities to create highly customized insights. So we have explored how publishers can build tailored reports that zoom in on specific engagement metrics, segment audience behavior, and optimize performance. For instance, we discussed tracking user journeys and identifying key engagement trends across different traffic sources. These techniques empowers you, the publisher, to gather actionable insight and make data-driven decisions, especially when aiming to boost audience retentions and growth. So today we're going to take those insights even further by honing in on content and author performance. It's crucial to understand how individual articles and your content creators are driving your site's success. This knowledge is the key to fine-tuning your publishing strategy and ensuring that both your content and your team are contributing to overall growth. So we'll explore how to measure content effectiveness, track author-specific performance, and use these insights to guide editorial decisions, whether it's improving reader engagement, increasing subscription, or better allocating resources to high-performing articles. We are going to uncover actionable ways to leverage GA4 for meaningful content. Right. Well, as always, let's start with an insightful quote before exploring today's topic. Personalization, it's not about first or last name. It's about delivering relevant content. Now, when we hear personalization, many of us think it's as simple as addressing someone by name in an email or message. But as publishers, we understand it's so much more than that. True personalization is about building a genuine connection with your audience by delivering content that aligns perfectly with their preferences, behaviors, and interests. So what does that really mean? It's not just about having basic user data. You need to go deeper, understanding exactly what kind of content our readers gravitate towards, how they engage with different type of media, and what resonates with them in real time. Today's reader expect content that's tailored to them on a personal level. They want to see articles, videos, and other media that felt relevant and timely, whether it's showing them content based on their past behavior or introducing them to new topics that align with what other similar readers are consuming. So in today's webinar, we'll explore the tools and techniques that allow you to not just understand what your readers are interested in, but how to consistently deliver content that keeps them engaged. So let's start off with a quick pop quiz. Over to you, Shaman.
All right, thank you, Kuga. Good morning, everybody. So yes, before we kickstart today's webinar, like what Kuga has mentioned, we will be doing maybe a little bit of recap and trying to sense out everyone's understanding about what we went through in the previous webinar. So I'll be launching the first poll. So the first quiz will be which GA4 report is the most useful for measuring the performance of individual pieces of content. So you can head over to the poll and select the right answer. So is it A, user acquisition report, B, pages and screens report, C, audience overview report, or D, conversions report. And after you select, maybe while waiting for everyone else to think about what the right answer is, maybe you can share with me why you select the answer. All right, you see that there are votes coming in. Yeah, feel free to type in your answers, and why do you think the answers that you selected is the right answer? Right. Okay, I see like most people, it's hovering around like the two different answers. It's either A or B. Right? Anyone want to give it a shot and share why you select your answer? No? All too shy? All right. No worries, no worries. So I'm going to quickly end the poll. Yeah. So the correct answer is actually B, the page and screens report, is because you'll be able to have navigate to the section where you'll be able to see your pages. There's a report under the page and screens report that will show you how your different articles are performing with the right engagement metrics. For example, you have like number of pages per screen, and then the number of total events that were happening or were triggered by your users on the pages that you have on your website. So why is it not user acquisition report? Because user acquisition report just shows you where your users are coming from. So under the user acquisition tab, there is like the word acquisition is meaning to say how you acquire your users, how are they coming to your website. So they usually just tell you where they come from, meaning to say the source and medium, be it social media, or maybe they're coming to your website directly, or searching for your website organically. So this is where the user acquisition report comes into play. And the audience overview report will just tell you how your different audiences will behaving on your website, right? Not really telling you much about the performance of your content pieces. And conversion report basically just tells you whether or not your users are triggering the events and the key actions that you have set and have configured on your website. Doesn't really tell you about the performance of your content once again. All right, I hope this is clear for everyone. If not, I'll hand it over to Kuga again, just to go through what the whole personalization journey can look like.
Great. Thank you, Shalin. All right, let's move on. So as publishers, we all share the same key goals. We want to improve user engagement, boosting user retention, and ultimately increasing revenue. But achieving these goals is no easy task in today's content landscape, where competition for attention is fierce. So how do we hit these targets effectively? First things first, it's critical to identify your high-value readers. These are the people who truly connect with your content. They're spending more time on your site, returning frequently and interacting with multiple pieces of content. Once you've identified this key group, the next step is to prioritize their experience. These are your most loyal readers. So every interaction they have with your site needs to feel valuable and engaging. So next up is personalization. Imagine being able to serve up content that feels custom-made for each individual user. Content that speaks directly to their interests. We know that personalization will be powerful for those. So when your readers see articles that align with what they care about, engagement rates will definitely soar. But it's not just about the content itself. It's about timing and relevance as well. You want to deliver the right content at the exact moment they're looking for it. And finally, let's talk about subscribers-only content. Having exclusive premium content that your audience can't access anywhere is really crucial as well. Whether it's deep dives, exclusive reports, or early access to breaking news. This type of content creates a sense of value that encourages readers to subscribe and stay. It gives them a reason to return and engage even more deeply. Now, you might be wondering, how do we pull all of this into action? So don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to dive into next. Let's explore how you can start optimizing your strategy to hit those important goals. All right, let's talk about something we can all agree on. Data is the foundation of every successful content strategy. Without it, we are just guessing, right? Like, and that's not where we want to be when it comes to decision making that actually moves the needle. So data is what helps us truly understand our readers. It answers those critical questions we all have, like where do readers first land when they first visit our site? Are they discovering us through social media, search engines, or some other avenue? Which type of content help transform a casual visitor into loyal readers who keep coming back? And of course, which topic or article are actually leading to meaningful actions like more subscription or high engagement? These questions are at the heart of any strategy that works. Ultimately, what we want is to convert those casual visitors into loyal readers who love our brand, engage with our content, and maybe even subscribe or share it with others. But to do that, we need a solid understanding of the data behind all of this. That's where GA4 comes in. It gives us the ability to see exactly what's driving the journey from casual reader to dedicated subscriber. With the insight we get, we can really focus on building relationships with the people who matter most, those highly engaged, valuable readers. So, with this knowledge in hand, we are not no longer just reacting to what happens on our site. Instead, we are making smart, data-driven decisions that not only increase engagement but also grow a loyal audience in a way that make real, lasting impact. And that's what all it's about, right? Using data to create a strategy that connects with reader and build something sustainable, something real. Right. So now let's talk about creating article view event and why it's important for us as publishers. You might be thinking, what exactly is this article view event, right? And how is this different from a standard page view event? So let's break it down. A typical page view event fires when a user visit any pages on your site, whether it's your home page, category page, or an article. It gives us a broad look at how users are navigating the site overall. While that's valuable for some of us, as publishers, we are particularly interested in how users engage with articles, which after all is the core of what we do. That's where the article event comes into play. It is an important event to be added in your site. This event fires only when a user lands on an article page. So what does that mean, right? It allows us to track much more specific behavior, whether the user is reading an in-depth investigation piece or an opinion article. Essentially, we are zooming in on what matters most, the content itself. So by distinguishing between page view and article view, we can segment our audience more effectively. So for example, we can identify who is reading multiple articles, who is just browsing, or who is deeply engaging with certain type of content. This provides detailed insights into how users are interacting with your articles, which articles generate the most engagement, and how this feeds into your broader retention strategy. So with this customized event in place, we can focus on optimizing key touch points, tracking how often readers interact with certain article types, which articles generate the most engagement, and how that feed into our larger retention strategy. So we will be going through on how this event ultimately helps you as a publisher. Right, let's continue building on the powerful insight we can gather using the article view event to track reader engagement. Now that we have explored how the event functions, let's dive deeper into how we can segment our readers based on their interaction with article. So by leveraging the number of article view events triggered over the past 30 days, we can group our audience into four key segments. These are going to be casual readers, loyal readers, brand lovers, and subscribers. So casual readers are going to be the users who have triggered two or fewer article events in the past month. These readers may be new or occasional visitors. For loyal readers, these readers engage more consistently, triggering 3 to 14 article view events during the same period. They're coming back regularly for more content, showing interest in what you have to offer. Brand lovers are your highly engaged readers, those who have triggered at least 15 article view events. They love your content and they keep coming back for more. Subscribers are your most valuable users who have not only engaged with your content, but have taken the ultimate step where subscribing to your exclusive content, right? So it makes them an essential segment for sustained growth and revenue. So by leveraging the article view event, we can uncover meaningful insights into how deeply users are engaging with content. This segmentation lets us focus on high value groups like loyal readers and brand lovers, who typically represent about 20% of a publisher's audience, but often account for 80% of total page views. It's this small but mighty segment that we need to pay the closest attention to, as it can provide us the better result. Now, to go even further, you can add additional layers of segmentation by demographic locations. By demographics, we have locations, or even by the type of content users that are most engaged with. This allows you to fine tune your content strategy to resonate with each specific group, ensuring you're not only engaging your broader audience, but also providing them personalized content that matters to them. Ultimately, the goal here is to move readers along this funnel from casual readers to loyal readers and eventually to subscribers. So, by analyzing article views and refining your content accordingly, you are setting the stage for long term engagement and maximizing your overall impact as a publisher. Right. Let's go to another quick pop quiz as well. Over to you, Shamin.
All right, thank you, Coco. So yes, thank you for sharing all about the different definitions of the audience that we can create. So now we'll be asking another question about content grouping. So I've just launched the poll as well. You can feel free to select the answer that you deem is right. So the question 2 will be, what is the primary purpose of using content grouping in GA4? Is it A, to organize content in different categories for better reporting? B, to increase ad revenue? C, to track user demographics more efficiently? Or D, to boost page views? Again, you can, well, after you select the answers, right, you can feel free to, try to let us know why you select the answers. But maybe expanding more on what Kuga said about the audiences that you can create, right? So with the help of content grouping, you can actually better understand, what your users are looking to and are interested in. With the different audiences that you have created. So there's brand lovers, there's casual readers, there's subscribers. So with the help of content grouping, yeah, you can better understand how your different audiences and their interests on your website. Okay, I see that we have 2 answers similar to the previous poll. Most of you guys have selected A, and one of you have selected C. All right, so I'll be giving you guys maybe a couple more seconds to decide and share with us why you think this is the right answer. Okay, I see a little bit more answers coming in. Okay. All right, then I will proceed to end the poll. Oh, last minute answers. Maybe have a couple more seconds, maybe 10 more seconds. All right. Any last minute votes? Anyone brave enough? Okay, I'll end the poll. Anyone brave enough to, type in the chat why you think that's the answer? No? Okay, all good. No worries. Yeah, need to warm up the brain a little bit. Okay, so the right answer is A, to organize content into different categories for better reporting. So how this will look like. So for example, you have an article, right? Maybe talking about some financial situation in a certain country. Then this might fall under the content of either finance or rather financial or maybe business, right? So there are many articles that you can have, and then you can categorize them in a huge header. So you can roughly understand how your users and what your audiences are mainly interested in and navigating to or coming into your website to, that contribute most to the traffic volume. So this, like I mentioned earlier, you can use with the help of the audiences that you have created, right? So casual readers, maybe they just come into your pages once or twice. What are the articles that actually drive them to your website in the first place? So that's like really key to understand. And then your brand lovers, what are they like, interested in, and then they are still like navigating around your website after going to your website. For example, they're going through a business article, right? And then after browsing a few more business articles, they realize, oh, they find some interest in maybe some sports article, and then they move on to the sports page. So, this really helps you understand your different audiences and the interest of your audiences. So I see that there's someone that selected, just two of you who have selected demographics. So this is not the right answer, because demographics doesn't really have any relevance to the content grouping, because content grouping is mainly to understand where your how your articles are categorized, right? Whereas for demographics, this will fall under the user attributes or the demographics report, so you can better understand where your users are coming. What age range, for example, what age range they fall under, what location they're from, and so on and so forth. So that's where the demographics component will come in under GA4. So it doesn't really increase your ad revenue, neither does it boost the number of page views. Right, so I hope that's clear for everybody. If no other questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box at any time. If not, I'll hand over the time back to Kogo.
All righty, thank you, Shamin. So now, let me quickly show you the demo of creating a custom audience in GA4, and we will be using casual reader audience as an example. So if you remember our earlier slide, this will be the users who have to and below article views event in the past 30 days. So before I jump in the platform, it will be great if you could probably bring up the platform on your end as well and set it side by side so you can follow together with me on the steps. Right, so I'm gonna move now to the platform. Okay. Right. I'll give a few seconds. Maybe you can set it up right now on your end, and then I'll just go through it. So probably you guys can leave a thumbs up so I know that you guys have all set up and I can continue showing it to you guys. So we can walk through it. Yep, so that's great. Yeah, one thumbs up. Few more seconds. Okay. I think we'll just kick it off right now from this. So if you see over here in your home screen, when you bring your pointer towards the bottom left of the screen, you would be seeing the admin setting button. So all you have to do is click on this, right? So once it's loaded, you can see property settings on the left, which I'm hovering on right now. So under this, you can see data display, right? So if you're seeing this, you have to click this. And underneath this, you'll be seeing audiences. So you have to click audiences, right? So from here, what you have to do is click on new audiences. So as we discussed, we are going to be creating an audience for casual readers, right? So we're going to click create a custom audience over here and name it as casual readers, right? So I hope you're following up till now. So once you've added that, you need to add the condition, right? So you're going to click this. You're going to search for the event name. So over here, you'll be seeing create event as article view. So let's say you have already created this event on your end, right? You will be seeing the name itself rather than showing the create event. So since we have not set up the event, so we're going to just create the event over here by clicking on it, right? So once we click on it, we're going to add a parameter. So if you remember, it's going to be 2 and less than that counts, right? So we're going to click on this, and then we're going to select the event count parameter over here. The condition we're going to set as less than equals to, and the count is going to be 2. So we're going to just apply that, right? So once this is done, you're all set. You're going to click on the save button, and yep, you're done. So you'll be having it over here. So when you click on this, it will bring you to the page over here to view all the activities. So over now, since it's a test account, we are not seeing much of numbers, but you will be seeing some data on your end. Right. So I hope you were able to follow it. Maybe you can drop another thumbs up button. It will be great. So I know like everybody followed through. If you have questions, you can still pop it up in the chats. So we will address it at the end of our webinar today. Right. So let me get back to the deck. Right. So one important thing to note here, audience in GA4 are not retroactive. This means the audience will only start populating from the day it's created. So when you first set it up, it's totally normal to see fewer than 10 users at the beginning. So don't worry at all. Over the next few days, as data accumulates, the audience will start to populate based on your traffic volume and the conditions that you've set. So this kind of custom audience setup is crucial because it allows you to identify and re-engage those casual readers, potentially nudging them towards becoming more loyal readers with targeted strategies. Right. So in this section, we are introducing two key custom events that can be incredibly valuable for publishers who wants to deepen their understanding of user engagement and optimize their content strategy. So first up is the article complete event. So this fires when a user scrolls all the way to the end of an article, which signals that they are likely to read the entire piece. Now, think about value of this insight, right? Whether you're producing long-form investigative content or shorter reads, knowing that someone stayed until the very last word is a powerful indicator of engagement. So for publishers, this is a key. It tells you, are readers absorbing the full story or are they leaving halfway through? So if you see drop off before the end, this could be a sign to tweak your content, maybe break it up with visuals or add more compelling elements throughout to keep people hooked. Okay, then there is content suggestion click event. This is fired when reader clicks on one of your suggested articles, like those in the read more or related articles section. You may be asking, why is this important, right? So this is important because it tells you whether or not your content recommendation strategy is working. Are people clicking on related articles and continuing their journey through your site, or are they bouncing off? So with this data, you can understand what kind of article get readers to stick around. If your suggestion on generating clicks, it's a sign you might need to rethink how you surface content, perhaps by fine-tuning the relevance or placement of your recommendation, right? So both of these custom events give you actionable data that goes beyond surface level metrics like page views. They allow you to dive deeper into how readers are engaging with your content, whether it's staying with one article to the end or exploring more of your site. And with this knowledge, you can continuously refine and personalize your content strategies to maximize impact and keep your readers engaged. Right. Now that we have established how we will define the different audiences and custom events, let's dive into report creation to answering these questions. So publishers often wonder where and how are users discovering their site, like what content brings them to my site, right? So there are reports that we can create in GA4 to answer these questions. Right. First, under the exploration tab, start by creating a free-form report. This gives you the flexibility to pull in the exact data points you need to answer critical questions about content performance and audience behavior. So to get started, step one, you need to click on the plus button under the dimension sections. Here, you'll want to add key dimensions that are relevant to your analysis. So for this, we'll include session source and medium, content group, and audience name. So step two, you need to click on the plus button again, but this time under the metrics section. The key metrics you'll want to add are total users and sessions. This will give you an overview of user activity and number of times they engage with your content. Now that we have defined the dimensions and metrics, here how to structure the report. So this will be step three, where we're going to drag and drop the session source and mediums into the rows. This will allow you to track how users from different traffic sources are engaging with your content. Then for step four, we have to place the audience name in the columns to see how each audience segment interacts with your content. Lastly, include total users and sessions in the metric sections to get an overview of user engagement across your content. Right. So by setting up this free-form report, you'll be able to identify which content sources and audience are driving the most most engagement. Compare how different audience segments like casual readers and loyal readers are interacting with your content. You'll be able to understand which traffic sources are delivering the most value, helping you to prioritize your efforts and optimize your content strategies accordingly. This report will give you a comprehensive view of how your audience interact with your content and provide actionable insights to help you fine-tune your content strategy for maximum impact. Right. So the next question here will be, are long-form articles really driving deeper engagement? We believe it's a question that's been on every publisher mind, right? So let's walk through the report creation for this. So under the exploration tab, we can create a free-form report again, just like before. This time, click on the plus button under the dimensions sections and add the dimensions article, article form type, audience name, and event name. Next, click on the plus button under the metrics sections and add the metrics event count. So once that's done, you can drag and drop the dimensions or click the select dimensions for your rows and columns. In this case, we'll add article and article form types in the row and place audience name and events name in the column. Next, we're going to be adding the event count in the metrics section. And finally, we'll be adding the filter to filter out article view and article complete event. So with this report, you'll have a clear view of how different audience segments interact with various types of content. This data helps you to identify opportunities to optimize content that underperforms with certain segments, allowing you to make data-driven decisions for improving user engagement and retention. So next, the next question you would be asking would be, are you showing relevant content to retain users, right? So earlier we shared the 3 custom events that you can implement. In this report, this is where we'll analyze the content suggestion click event. So let's assume that the content suggestion section only fires at the bottom of your article pages. So with that in mind, we can use this report to track content performance across 3 key events. It's going to be article view, which shows user landing on article pages, article complete, indicating readers have finished the article, content suggestion click, signaling that the suggested content resonates with the user's interest, right? So to set this up, you need to start by clicking the plus button under the dimensions sections again, right? Add the dimensions content group and event name. Next, head over to metric section, click the plus button again and add event count as your metric. Now, you can either drag and drop the dimensions or simply select them to the rows and for the rows and columns. In this case, add content group in the row and event name in the column. Right. So you need to make sure to add event count in the values as well. So this is going to be step 5 over here. Right. So finally, apply a filter to focus only on the article view, article complete, and content suggestion click events. So this report offers invaluable insight, helping you to refine your content strategy, boost engagement rate, and ultimately increase user retentions by making sure your content recommendation hit the mark truly. And it will definitely resonate with the readers as well. So let's move to the next pop quiz. Over to you, Shamin.
All right, thank you, Koga, for sharing with us all the different reports that exploration reports that I can use to, understand how my articles are performing, and then the different types of article, and then including different dimensions into the report. So now we're on my next question. I'm going to launch the poll again. So now the quiz will be, the question will be, how can you identify top performing articles in GA4? Is it A, to go into your page and title, screen, class, report, and sort them by the different kind of engagement metrics like time on page or conversion? B, to use the real-time report for live views, like real-time engagement or like traffic using the real-time report? Or is it C, compare bounce rate across different pieces of content? Or D, focus on traffic sources rather than content performance? All right, because in light of time, because we still have another section that we would love to share. So maybe spend less time on the quizzes. So maybe I give you everyone about maybe 10 more seconds, to select what you think the right answer is. Right, I see that there are votes coming in. Great, great, great. Everyone's selecting the right answer. All right, so I'll go ahead to end the poll. Yes, great. I love that everyone got the right answer. Means the content you guys are following really well. So yes, you have to go to your page and title screen class to sort them by engagement metrics such as time on page or conversion. So the reason why we have this quiz, this intentionally, because we want the you guys to really understand what are the engagement metrics that would be essential to understanding which are your top performing articles. All right, so real-time reports again doesn't really tell you what your top performing articles are, traffic sources, and doesn't really tell you more about your top performing articles as well. Bounce rate. So this is a good one. I'm surprised that no one actually selected because it was a little bit tricky. So why this option is not the right answer, because it just shows whether or not your users are engaged. It doesn't, browsing through your article, it doesn't really tell you whether or not they're performing, whether or not the users are clicking onto your engaged on your website, on your article pages. Like, are they scrolling down to a certain rate, and so on and so forth. So that's why that's not the right answer. All right, this will be our last quiz for the day. So the question is, which of the following is an effective way to measure author performance in GA4? So is it A, tracking time spent on pages written by each author? B, measuring total page views for each author? C, evaluating engagement metrics for content with from specific authors? Or D, all of the above? All right, I see that there are some votes coming in. Great, great, great. Love it. Everyone selecting similar answers. Okay, I'll give everyone maybe about 10 more seconds. Again, don't be shy. Maybe let us know. Type in the chat box if you are brave to share why you think the answer you selected is the right answer. All right. I'll give you a couple more seconds before I end the poll. Any last minute votes? If not, all right, I'll go ahead to end the poll now. So most of you got the right answer. The answer is all of the above. So tracking time spent on pages written by each author, it will tell you whether or not your users are staying on the page, actually taking the time to understand the content written by the author. So that's a good way to measure your author performance. B, measuring total page views. So as you have a lot of page view count for a specific author, maybe the way they write is more, it captures the user's attention better. So that is also one of the metrics that you'll use. And C, evaluating engagement metrics for content for specific author. I think it's pretty similar to the previous question where we tell you, how the users are being engaged on the article, they're scrolling down, they maybe, for example, if there's a video and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is also a way to measure your author performance. All right, so enough of GA4. Remember, most of you, I'm not sure if you remember, in the first webinar we kind of share with you guys what we will be going through in the whole webinar, right? And this also includes Looker Studio. So we'll be sharing with you how you can go about creating the reports in Looker Studio. So Looker Studio is completely free to use. Feel free to use it. You can just go to Looker Studio and then you can sign in and then just create a report, and as simple as that. And then you can just go ahead to add GA4 as your data source, and then during the live demo, I will walk you through how you can go about doing that. So we have created a template for you guys, so you can maybe either go ahead to copy full-fledged, or play around with what you think you want to see in your report. So over here, you can see that there's like an overview of how your audiences are performing. So earlier, Kuga shared with you the different definitions of the audiences that we create, right? From casual readers, from loyal readers, from brand lovers to subscribers. So ultimately, you want to know how many users fall under the different audiences, right? So this is where you see the first scorecards, which will show you the total number of users for each audience segment, audience that you have created. Then we created a metric card that will show you the number of views per session. So how many articles have they viewed in one session? So maybe casual readers will be slightly lesser compared to your loyal and brand lovers. So that's how you can roughly see, okay, this is how they are performing on my website. And then recirculation rate. I'm not sure if you guys remember how we defined it. So I think Kuga mentioned how when you go down to the article and then there's the suggested article section, right? So when the users click onto those suggested articles, that's where we will fire, I believe, the suggestion article click event. So that's where we take the total number of suggestion click article click event divided by the number of article views. So that's how we get the recirculation rate, to see whether or not the suggested content that you are showing at the lower part of your article page or at the side to really get your users engaged and navigating, increasing the number of page views on the website. So you keep your users engaged on your website. So that's what this recirculation rate metric will do and will tell you. So again, it's a key metrics that I believe most of you guys will want to understand whether or not you guys are showing the content that is keeping and retaining your users on your website. So this is a key metric that you should include in this report. And finally, the completion rate. So that's its indicator. I think we went through in the previous webinar as well, but a little bit of refresher. So completion rate would be the total number of article completed, meaning to say they have scrolled all the way down to your article, indicating that they have finished reading the article, divided by the total number of article views. So basically, it indicates whether or not your users are, fully ingesting the content that you guys are, churning out for them when they read an article. So, you get to see how would your user perform. So usually you'll see your casual readers maybe not as high as maybe your brand lovers or even your subscribers, because they are really, really like loving the content that you are showing them. So that's why they are brand lovers and subscribers. So yeah, this is a good template to have to see how the different audiences that you created are performing on your website, how they are behaving on your website. And then next, we have the different segments that can see. So for example, the segment users that I've put on the top left hand side, you'll be able to see like a time graph. So you'll be able to see how they are performing maybe the past 7 days, and then spreading them out between the 4 audiences that I've created. So I believe this is using your user count. So you'll be able to see how your user count, like how many of them coming into your website in the past few days. And then at the next side, the next graph on the right, I kind of put, instead of number of user count, what I did was I add the number of page views. So you can see, are your users behaving as expected over the period of time? So may I say, if you have high number of users, will that equivalent to high number of page views? Is this how you expect your users to be behaving throughout the period of time that you have set for this time graph? So this is what these 2 time graphs are for. And finally, at the bottom, you'll be able to see the top article pages. So for example, at the side, you have the content group, and then at the top, you'll get your the different audiences that I've created. Again, loyal readers, casual readers, brand lovers, subscribers, get to see like a overview, like what content group is like the one that is like keeping your users engaged, or most of your users are more inclined to view those articles on your website. So this is what this graph is for. Finally, is the audience acquisition by channel table that I've created. So what this will show you, meaning to say it's the on the dimension side, what I've selected is the session source and medium. So this will tell you where the users are coming from, along with your different audience name. So mainly loyal readers, casual readers, brand lovers, subscribers. Where are they coming from? Are you running any ads that will drive more people to come, and then did they end up turning into your casual readers or your brand lovers in the end? So this is what this audience acquisition channel table is for. Finally, it will be the audience acquisition by campaign. So again, maybe you guys are running any always on campaign, any brand campaign, generic campaign, remarketing, or even a retargeting campaign, right? Are they are your campaign meeting those objectives? So for example, you're always on campaign, it's meant to bring in your, for example, your casual readers, right? So because you are running ads or trying to get your users to come into your website by volume. So that's where you expect the number of casual readers under your always on campaign to be super, super high. Yeah, so this is what this table is for. So okay, now that we've went through the template, then I will go through how you can go about creating those scorecards in the Looker Studio itself. So give me a second to share my screen. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? All good? Okay, so how we can go about doing this. So this is how the Looker Studio will look like. So how you can go about doing this is initially it will be a blank page, right? And then you will need to navigate to resources and then click onto manage edit data source. And then once you have done that, you can add data, click onto add data source, and then all the GA4 property that your account has access to will be shown. And then once you see the one that you want to select, you can just click onto it and then click add, and you'll be able to add the data source. So once you have the data source added, what will happen is that you'll be able to see a long list of all the dimensions that are available in your GA4 report, and a long list of metrics that are available in your from GA4 as well. So then you'll be asking, okay, I can create most of this in GA4. Why do I need to use Looker Studio, right? So again, in Looker Studio, you can combine different reports together, different data sources together. So for example, in our case, maybe we're only using GA4 because, for demonstration's sake, we only show GA4, but in the case, you want to see different sources. For example, you want to see a meta data source, you want to see TikTok, and so on and so forth. All of this can be added as a data source, and then or even a normal Excel sheet, or your CRM, you can always add them in as a data source, and then you can combine it with your GA4 report, so you can have a one fit all for everyone to use. So you can just share the link of this report, and everyone will have access to the data sources that you're trying to show, the story you're trying to tell with this report, right? So this is what this report is for. So okay, how you can go about doing this? First, you need to add the date range, right? So you can add the control, and under add the control, you add the date range. So what this does is it controls, the date range of the data you're trying to show. Okay, main thing, total users, user count. You can it's a metric that is already available by default, so you can just similar to the GA4 report, you can just drag and drop it, or type it in, users, or you want to show anything else like engaged users, active users, or new users, returning users. All of this you can just type it in and then select the users that you want to count, you want to see or portray in the scorecard. Next, views per session, also another metric that is available by default in your GA4 card. So you can just type views per session, and then you can just drag and drop it into what's this called, the scorecard. Okay, this completion rate. So like I mentioned earlier, completion rate is the total number of article completed event divided by the total number of articles viewed, right? So what you won't be able to see this metric, these two metrics actually, completion rate and recirculation rate in or created in GA4. Why is that so? Because these are not metrics per se in GA4. So what you have to do is you have to add the filter, right? For example, earlier we showed article view and article completed, but there's no column that you can create to show for example, the completion rate. You'll have to do it, manually. So this is what why we are trying to show what the strengths of Looker Studio, because you can manually define it. So what does this mean? So over here, at the side, you can see that I have created a few scorecards, and you'll be wondering why it's not in the dashboard itself, right? So first, this is how I define article read, right? So it's defined where the event name equals to article read, where the metric is event count. So what this means, it only takes the event count where the event name is article read. So similarly for article completed, it will be when the total event count when the event name equals to article completed. And how you can go about getting this completion rate is that what you can do is you can blend this report together. So once you click blend data, you'll be given, they will come out with another scorecard that will show you the formula that they will be used that you can also toggle with. So in our case, we took the total sum of the article completed divided by the total sum of article read. And once you click apply, you'll be able to see the scorecard reflecting. So similarly for recirculation rate, where it's the content suggestion click event. So similarly, you add the filter at the bottom over here. You add a filter that will show the event count, where the event name equals to content suggestion click, and then you take the total you again blend it with content suggestion click divided by total number of article read, and then you'll be getting the recirculation rate. So this is how you can go about creating the scorecards in Looker Studio. One thing also is you have to create, the filter to also filter out the metrics by audience name. So remember how we created the audiences, like how Google shared, like how we can go about defining these audiences. So it's good for you guys to quickly already create the audience at the get-go, because audiences are not retrospective. It only starts populating from the day you create, right? So once you have created it, you can use them as a dimension for you to filter out how they are performing in the chart. Okay, so next would be the segment performance. So you can go about selecting the chart. So for example, you're gonna add a chart, right? There's a long list of chart that you can use. In our case, we will be using a time series chart. So once you click on the time series chart, it will show you some metrics that it will, randomly pull out from GA4. So what you can do is you can search again what you want, the dimensions that you want to use, and then drag and drop it into the dimension. In our case, we'll drag and drop the audience name and then use the metric total users. Similarly, for this, we will be using the dimension audience name, but this time we will be using the metric views instead. So you'll be able to see how they are performing in the time series graph. Last but not least will be the segment performance, right? The campaign performance. So what this means is that you'll be creating a table. So it will be a table. So it depends on what type of table you want, right? So do you want a normal table? You want tables with bars? You want a heated map? But in our case, I believe we created a pivot table. This is where you will be able to add dimension for the row side over here, which is campaign in our case, and then dimension on the column side, which is audience name at the top. And then you can add the whatever metrics you want to use. For example, you want to add the total number of users, or you want to add the total number of sessions, and so on and so forth. So this is how you can go about creating the table in Looker Studio. All right, so we're back to the we end the live demo here. I understand that there was a lot going on, in the previous few sessions. So maybe we can take this time to, share with us if you have any questions for us, or do you want us to, clarify certain things that you will need, a better understanding of, how GA4 works, or how Looker Studio will work. Any questions? No? All right. If not, then we'll be doing a summary of what we have gone through today. So what we have covered today will be how you can go about creating custom events, such as your article view, which is defined where it's different from your page view event. It just fires on when your users are navigating to the article pages only, and then article complete will be defined will be triggered when your users have finished going or reading the content that you have showed under the whole article. And your content suggestion click is when there's a suggestion content article for the user to continue navigating in the different articles. So that's where you will trigger when the user clicks onto it. And last but not least, we went through how we can go about, creating the Looker Studio dashboard, the different scorecards, the different graphs that are available in Looker Studio. So yeah, this is what we have gone through today. Totally understand that it's a lot of content. You feel free to scan the QR code to get more support or training to the site that will have all more resources. And then yeah, please do sign up with the one-on-one office hours, so that maybe your case is more tailored to like it's more customized and more unique. So you need our specialist help to get what you want. Maybe it's not covered very generic during our webinar session. Yeah, so feel free to sign up. It's gonna be an application kind of process. So you will need to fulfill certain requirements in order to qualify for the one-on-one office hours. So yeah. All right. So our next webinar will be on the 16th of October, where we will be sharing more about the reader revenue and ad revenue, and how you can go about, analyzing your data and the campaigns that you have ran. So yeah, if there's no further questions, little overrun by 2 minutes, but I'll return, the time to you guys. Thank you everyone for joining.